Hi, everyone. In this module, we're going to be learning about knowledge bases. Now, we've already talked about why knowledge bases are important, and we've already talked about a technique to alleviate the limitations that LLMs have in terms of knowledge, which is called RAG, or Retrieval Augmented Generation. Now, the great thing about this platform is that it does all of the intricacies of performing RAG for you. It takes a knowledge base, it then performs chunking on that knowledge base, and then performs all the vectorizing and indexing for you. Now, those were a lot of different words, and that may not have made sense. If it didn't, please go back and watch the RAG video that was closer to the introduction section of this course, or rather when we were talking about the Gen AI concepts. But the idea here is that for an LLM to use knowledge that's not publicly accessible up to a particular cutoff date that's not being used to train with, instead, if you want to direct it to use some other knowledge, you can either put that information into the context prompt, or you can use a technique like RAG. In order to use a technique like RAG, you need to take a knowledge base or some sort of information, put it into different chunks, and then have it vectorized so that it's readily accessible by the large language model. Okay, so let's go through an example and then it'll fit in a lot more. So I'm going to go ahead and click over here on the very top, click knowledge, and then click create knowledge. Okay, now there are many different things I can do to actually create knowledge. I can either import from a file, I can sync from Notion, or I can sync from a website. In my case, I'm going to import from a file. And the great thing is that this platform automatically has an ETL layer to basically capture the information from a wide variety of different file extensions, like TXT files, PDF files, HTML files, Excel files, and so on and so forth. Okay? In my case, I'm just going to click import from file. I'll click browse. And what I'll do is I'll click the drone manual. Now, this is my resources folder. You should have this as well. If you don't, go back to the introduction section where we go through resources and download this file. Okay. So I'll just click open on that and also open it on my PDF viewer as well. So you can kind of see what it looks like. It's a very simple manual for a drone that I bought that basically goes into, some maintenance, some cleaning up, some troubleshooting, the weight, how long you should have it in the air for, just like random things like that. Flight safety, stuff like that. Okay. All right, let's click next on that. All right. Now we need to set our chunk settings. We can either do general or parent child. In most cases, you would use general. So that basically what it does is it takes a document and chunks it up into separate sections. We can specify what we want our chunks to be, what we want the delimiter of our chunks to be, what we want our chunk length to be, and if we want any overlap. This is all outside the scope of this course, but there's a whole science behind RAG and retrieval augmented generation where there's trade-offs that you make. Similar to when you choose a model, trade-offs are here. If you have very large chunks, that's great, but then your indexing speed's a lot slower and you risk the fact that you might bring in information that may not be relevant to the user's question. So there's trade-offs here that happen. For now, we're just going to leave it like this. Index method, you can either have high quality or economical. We'll choose high quality. You then need to choose the embedding model as well. The embedding model is what takes the content and vectorizes it or changes it into embeddings. Again, if you not know what I'm saying and you don't care, that's fine. You can skip ahead. If you do care and you still don't understand what I'm saying, please go watch the video where we go through the whole Gen AI primer, okay? You then have certain retrieval settings as well. We'll use vector search instead of the hybrid search, but I've heard people use the hybrid search these days too. Okay, we'll click save and process, and now we'll go through and actually does that chunking for you. So it's doing the chunking, it's doing the embedding, and all of that, and we just have to wait for this to finish. So we'll just give it a minute because I don't think it should take too long because it's a very small file, but let's see. Actually go with the document too. Yeah, right here. So it's currently being indexed. Okay, that's good. Okay, so actually we'll just pause the video for now and then we'll come back when this is done and we'll take a look at this to see how it works. Awesome.